What is going to happen in 2024? That's what we're about today. You're going to want to stick around for this.
This is the Franchise Pitfalls and Profit Show. Each week, we bring you the challenges and triumphs of being in the franchise development and consulting business. The things you need to make money faster. And now your host, one of the most successful franchise developers in North America, Don Shin.
Hey, it's a new year, and I thought, what better topic than to talk about what we see as trends for the new year, what we see as carried over from the old year, and just talk about what's going to happen in the franchising space, specifically my expertise in franchise development. So that's what the topic of today's podcast is going to be. The 2024 trends, maybe predictions, certainly things to watch for. All right, first thing I want to talk about is speed to lead. Every once in a while, I still get questions about this. I still feel it is critical. So is your recruitment system, is your sales process, is it set up to respond quickly to your leads? So is your CRM set up? Is your actual process that your reps are following? Or if you're the person for your brand, if you're the founder and you're doing all the sales yourself, are you set up for quick responses so that you can get in touch with your leads, with your candidates quickly? I always believe that the critical time frame is 72 hours or about 3 days. And we teach, and I know some CRM systems teach 8, 9, 10 touch system in those 72 hours. Doesn't mean you're still not a decent lead. Doesn't mean don't throw a system or discard the lead if you've purchased it. But I think it's really, really critical to get in touch with people, to reach them by email, text, or phone sometime within 72 hours of you receiving the lead, 72 hours within the time that they requested information. So speed to lead is going to continue to drive sales processes. A second thing is I see it called multi-channel media. I call it multiple lead generation strategies. It is working. If you're not doing it, you need to do it. You need to have more than one lead generation source for your recruitment to grow your franchise. You're just not going to hit the numbers that you want to hit unless you're using more than one strategy. The other thing is, your business is very, very vulnerable. Even if a strategy is not a bad strategy, but it falls off for a period of time, any business that's relying on a single marketing strategy is very vulnerable to that supplier if it's being outsourced, to the dynamics of the marketplace. It's just not good in any business to have a single marketing strategy. So I encourage you, at a minimum, to find 3 that really, really work well. Ultimately, master them. But as my mentor taught me years ago, you need to first get consistent with them, then become proficient, and that leads to mastery. You want to get your lead generating running to an extent that you really don't have to worry about it. And if you have more than one strategy, then even if one hiccups for a period of time or a supplier goes south on you for a period of time, you're still going to have lead flow to keep your sales going. So multiple lead generation strategies. The FSA course, Franchise Sales Accelerator course that I developed, now has 13 strategies to generate leads. So you want to have multiple lead generation strategies or a multi-channel media approach. A third thing, video. Again, my same mentor said to me 2 to 3 years ago, the next 10 years is going to be about the use of video in business. If you're not using video on your websites, if you're not using it in your lead generation strategy and your touches, then you're not current. You're not being as effective as you could be. And one of the keys, I think, that's important to know is, people always debate how long should a video be? And you're probably going to get a lot of different opinions. But in our franchise development, in our recruitment process, what I'm going to say is in the early stages, in most cases, with most of your leads, they have low interest. So don't send them an 8 or 10 or 12-minute video from the CEO pontificating about the brand. There will be a place for that down the road, but in the early stages, you want quick hit videos, 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes tops. You want a number of them on different things. Break up your messages so that there's a single thing that you're discussing in a particular video. But don't go on and on and on. Literally, in your early stage recruitment process videos, maximum of 3 minutes, in my opinion. As they progress in your process, as they get more information, as they get more interested, and as you want to be continuing to provide more information midterm, later in your process, if as you're using video, they can get longer. That's okay, because their interest is higher and they'll be more willing to invest time watching a video from you. So, speed to lead, multiple lead generation strategies, recommend 3. Use of video in your recruitment process. The last one I wanted to talk about that's important is the use of brokers. The information that I've been studying, that the data that I've been receiving and seeing, says that 44% of franchisors are using business brokers as a lead generation strategy. So, what does this mean? If you are a broker, that's pretty good news. If you are a ZOR, I recommend getting better at this strategy. When I was a master franchisee and also a franchisor CEO, I found that the highest quality lead of every lead generation strategy that I use, the highest quality lead was from consultants or from brokers. So I also have seen over my 23 or 24 years now that many of these, many people just on both sides of the transaction, many people do not fulfill or do not do the broker strategy very well. And so I'm going to encourage you that if you're a franchisor, get better at doing this thing called a broker. It's a strategy. I can tell you, when I was a new broker, I wasn't new to franchise development. I had been extremely successful as a master franchisee. I found that as I was entering into the broker space, I got a lot of odd reactions because I would say, "Hey, I'm a new broker with XYZ organization." And I recognized after a couple of months of that conversation, I recognized pretty quickly that they were thinking I was new, and there's a lot of variation of the quality of brokers, particularly ones that are new. So I would emphasize, if you are a franchisor, you have an opportunity to impact, to influence that broker that might be new. So put some effort into them, because the other thing is many brokers will use what I call a short list strategy. I don't encourage that, but many will do that. So if you're a franchisor and you're trying to get in onto a broker's short list, or their list at all, their list of 10 or 12 that they're most likely going to recommend, you need to spend time with that broker. So the new ones will be very open. They'll have the time. They'll be very open to talking to you. So pour in, franchisors, pour into your brokers, particularly the new ones. Spend some time with them and build them up and create that relationship. The key to the broker ZOR success and placements, increasing your placements, is going to be that relationship. I found that about 25% of my sales as a master franchisee were from brokers. As a CEO of a franchisor, it was even higher than that. And so, but what I found as the master franchisee was that 85 or 90% I was trying to think of the percentage, 85 or 90% of my broker or consultant sales were from two brokers in particular. And why was that? It was because both of us invested time in each other to make that relationship work. And we had a good back and forth, a good give and take. We shared information. We called each other. We let each other know what was going on. I wasn't always the top Zor for those brokers candidates, but I could work and not manipulate, I could work and influence and change and respond to what the broker was telling me. And I could move myself up on that candidate's list. So the success in a broker Zor relationship, the success of using brokers as a lead generation strategy is investing time to build the relationship. I see too many, particularly emerging brands. I see too many emerging brands that join a broker organization and just sit back and go, okay, sales are going to come in. And then what happens is they do get a lot of territory checks, but because they're not building the relationship, they're not getting leads. So they get many, many hundreds sometimes of territory checks, and a very small percentage of those turn into leads. And it gets very, very frustrating. So if you are the owner of an emerging brand, you need to be sure that you recognize this is probably a 6-month payout because you need time to create those relationships with your franchisors. So those are my trends, my predictions, my what to watch out for list. Speed to lead continues. Use multiple lead generation strategies. It's working. Continue it. Increase your amount of video. If you're not using video at all, start to use video in your process, but it will continue to be key in franchise recruitment processes. And then lastly, use brokers. If you're a Zor, use brokers. If you're a broker, both of you recognize that the relationship is what's key to being successful in the broker Zor or making placements between that broker Zor engagement and relationship.